I just held her hand. We were quiet.
We had this time. We said things that we always wanted to say to each other.
Everything that the hospice folks told us was true. Everyone in my family grieved differently. We all struggled. We all found peace.
I'm dying. It's okay, once you can finally talk about it. This life is just a process. It's just a step to something else. And that's what I believe.
I work with people of all ages and races and illnesses, and people often ask me how I deal with this. And I tell them this job is about life. It's not about death. And I feel it's a privilege and an honor that they invite me into their homes to share that experience with them.
You know, the first time the hospice counselor came to the house, I remember my sister saying, "Now you can go in, but flip your name tag over because Mama doesn't know that you're from hospice, and she doesn't know that she's dying."
We try very hard to come in and create an atmosphere of openness where families, patient and loved one can come together and talk and express their feelings, bring down those barriers of silence, of protection, and be open with one another.
So the counselor goes into my mother's house, and Mama says, "Now don't you tell my daughters that you're from hospice because they don't know that I'm dying."
Many of our patients are in the hospital wanting to go home, to be with their families, to be in the comfort of their own familiar environment. And with hospice support, our staff's education and help, we can make that happen.
At hospice, we know that day-to-day issues can be very overwhelming when a loved one is ill. We try to relieve some of that stress so that the families can focus on what's truly important.
They helped us change bed linen. They helped us find financial support. They let me get out of the house for a while. They even took our dog to the vet. It was like our family grew overnight or something.
Truly, what we reinforce in every way that we possibly can is that hospice is an aggressive form of hope, hope for compassion, hope for comfort, hope for peace.
I think the family and the patient both are real surprised to see that we treat them as a team. We don't treat the patient as someone who's just dying. We treat them as someone who should be as aware and alert and pain-free as possible.
Well, it was obvious my brother was in a lot of pain. He didn't want to take any drugs, and I just couldn't figure it out.
Palliative care is so much more than just giving drugs for pain. It's about finding out what a patient would like to do, how they want to feel, and then helping them to feel in control of their pain.
The pain counselor talked to him about how he wanted to feel, giving him just enough medicine to take care of the pain and yet function. And it turned out that's what my brother was afraid of. He wanted to be aware, not zoned out or unable to communicate.
When a particular drug is not effective, we get with the doctor and find one that does work. We're a team, and we work together to find a solution.
It's my body. It's what is important to me that matters. I really don't care about an agenda of a hospital or a healthcare person. I really wanted to go to the mountains. I'd never been. So I told them that I wanted to feel good enough to go. And they said, well, yeah, let's make that happen.
Pain can rob a patient of their dignity, and it's our job to give that dignity back to them. It's what I do.
Once we have a relationship with people where we can openly talk with one another and express our feelings, It's as if a weight has been lifted from the people's shoulders. And they realize that hospice takes on an entirely different meaning. It's not just about dying, it's about living to its fullest.
In my family, we never talked about death. It was too scary. So we never really knew what Mama wanted.
We know that a lot of people within themselves know what their wishes will be at the end of life, but they never express them to their family, their friends, their significant others, the people who will be around them at the time, the minister, the physician. So it's our mission to educate them about their choices and to reinforce the fact that we want them to communicate to their families and to write those wishes down.
So one thing I wish I'd known about was the advanced care counseling they give. That would have made it so much easier, helping me to understand the medical choices.
Sometimes we do things backwards. When a baby's born, everyone's at the hospital all happy and jumping around. When somebody's dying, people sneak around like they're gonna catch something. I wish we could look at it differently. I wish we were better at saying goodbye.
We're often invited to speak before various groups, civic clubs, community organizations, church groups, staff meetings at hospitals, to talk about various end-of-life issues. And we find that if the person who shares their wishes with someone is open, that oftentimes opens the door for the listener to share his wishes as well.
Sometimes people just need help talking. There was a great couple, married 56 years, a farmer and his wife, and when she was diagnosed with her illness, she didn't talk much about it. It was just their way. And he was struggling, she was struggling with that they were going to be apart from each other.
She was the best thing that ever was. I didn't want to see us suffer.
She was especially worried about how he would get along, and so I encouraged her to talk. I encouraged them to talk to each other.
She started worrying about me and all the chores and cooking for myself and all. I told her, now you know I make some good toast.
It turns out what she really wanted was to know that he was going to spend the holidays with the children and that he could get some recipes together and cook something for her and that she would know that he could be okay without her.
I don't know what I cooked first. I think it was a roast. Whatever it was good. I remember that.
She told me that it was not as good as her cooking. But she asked me not to tell anybody. But she knew that he was going to be okay. She had what she wanted, and she had peace.
Not everyone has everything in a neat little package. In fact, oftentimes patients express unresolved feelings to us. They tell us they have unfinished business, and what they really hope for are to mend those issues before they die.
When we're managing a patient's pain, sometimes an interesting thing happens. It seems that the source of the physical pain is an emotional pain. It could be a relationship. It could be a spiritual issue. No matter what it is, we have a team member to help with that.
As a hospice chaplain, I work with every denomination and every belief system. I've had Buddhist patients, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Native American, whatever their belief system, I stand beside them to bear witness. I try to meet them wherever they are.
I think it is our natural instinct to love human beings. And when you walk into a room and someone reaches out to you, you don't think about whether they have cancer or AIDS or any of those things. You think about, this is a human being and they need me.
When you meet someone, who's so full of peace or grace, maybe, it calms you down. There's no room for passing judgment here.
Sooner or later, every one of us will go through this experience, and all of us can become better people for it.
I tell families that there is no quick fix for grief. We offer support to them for as long as needed, from the moment we meet them up until years afterward. As long as it takes to heal from their grief, we're there to help them.
Sometimes when someone is at the end and I'm there and I'm holding their hand, I'll see a tear trickle down their eye, and sometimes a tear will trickle down my eye because it's a very sad time, but a very happy time too, because I think they're at peace and they're ready to let go.
They will sit with you in silence. They'll laugh with you. They'll hold you when you cry. It's a good thing.
My mother had a calm and peaceful death. She said what she needed to say, and she moved on. It was a gift.
When someone we love is dying, they can teach us how to live right now. In this very moment, there is profound value. Think about that and start living your life the way you want to.